Breaking news, big updates from the Falcons. We've got some major news to talk about today, and you won't want to miss this. If you're a die-hard fan, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you stay in the loop with all the latest updates. Let's dive in. Two of our star players, Drake London and Robinson, are making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Both are facing hefty fines after the Falcons' overtime loss to the Panthers. According to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, London was fined $12,255 for taunting after his touchdown just before halftime. Meanwhile, Robinson was hit with a $20,511 fine for unnecessary roughness in the fourth quarter. That's over $30,000 in fines combined. This isn't London's first run-in with fines. Remember back in Week 2, when he scored that game-winning touchdown against the Eagles on Monday Night Football? His celebration, which mimicked a gunshot, cost him a massive $14,069. London later apologized, saying, "With all the gun violence happening in the world, I realize it wasn't the right thing to do. You won't see me doing that again." Robinson has had his share of controversy too. Earlier this season, the Falcons were fined $75,000, and coach Arthur Smith was hit with a $25,000 penalty for not reporting Robinson's illness before the Week 7 matchup against the Buccaneers. Despite the fines and drama, both players had phenomenal performances late in the season. London had a monster game, racking up 10 catches for 187 yards and 2 touchdowns. Robinson wasn't far behind, rushing for 170 yards and scoring twice on 28 carries. They left it all on the field, but sadly, the Falcons lost 44-38 to Carolina. This defeat sealed the Falcons' fate, with the Buccaneers securing the NFC South by beating the Saints and ending Atlanta's playoff hopes. But don't lose hope, Falcons fans. London and Robinson have proven they're among the best at their positions. With some key offseason changes, this team could be back in the playoff race next year. What do you think? Will 2025 be the year we finally break the 7-year playoff drought? The division looks wide open, with the Saints and Panthers still rebuilding. It could come down to us and Tampa once again. Share your thoughts in the comments. Coaching changes on the horizon. The Falcons didn't waste any time shaking things up after a disappointing 8-9 season. According to NFL insider Ian Rappaport, Atlanta has officially parted ways with defensive coordinator Jimmy Lake and defensive line coach Jay Rodgers. Lake was hired just last offseason alongside head coach Raheem Morris, but now the team is looking to make some bold moves to get back on track. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep the faith, Falcons fans. A season of defensive struggles. Let's face it, the Falcons' defense under Jimmy Lake just didn't deliver. Remember the promising 2023 season when Atlanta's defense ranked 18th in scoring and 11th in total yards allowed? Well, that progress completely unraveled last year. The defense dropped to 23rd in scoring, allowing 24.9 points per game, and gave up an average of 345.8 yards per game. The numbers are even worse when you look at the passing defense. Opposing quarterbacks completed a shocking 69.9% of their passes and threw 34 touchdowns, second most in the league. These kinds of stats are far from playoff worthy, especially for a team that started the season as a favorite to win the NFC South. The struggles didn't end there. The run defense was mediocre at best, ranking 18th with 4.5 yards per carry allowed. And when it came to pressuring the quarterback, Atlanta was nearly invisible, finishing the season with just 31 sacks, second fewest in the NFL, and a pressure rate of only 20%, ranking 25th. Why the coaching change now? The Falcons' postseason drought has now stretched to a painful 7 years. With high expectations going into the season, the defensive collapse was too glaring to ignore. To turn things around, the next defensive coordinator has a monumental task ahead: fixing the secondary, boosting the pass rush, and raising the defense to at least league average levels. A bright spot amid the struggles. Despite the setbacks, Falcons fans can take some hope from safety Jesse Bates. Since joining the team in 2023, Bates has been a game changer, Over 2 seasons, he's recorded 234 tackles, 10 interceptions, 7 forced fumbles, and even scored 2 defensive touchdowns. He's exactly the kind of playmaker the Falcons can build around. And don't forget about the team's offensive talent. Recent drafts have brought stars like Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Robinson, and now Michael Penix Jr. The offensive firepower is there. If the defense can even reach average performance, the Falcons have a real shot at taking control of the NFC South. In fact, the Falcons swept Tampa Bay in 2024, proving they're not far from dethroning the division champions. Was firing Jimmy Lake the right move? Do you think letting go of Lake was the right call? Can the next defensive coordinator get this team back on track? The pieces are there. It's all about putting them together. A bold trade proposal. Now let's talk about a trade idea that could shake things up in Atlanta. According to Bleacher Report, the Las Vegas Raiders might offer the Falcons a 4th-round pick and cornerback Jack Jones in exchange for veteran quarterback Kirk Cousins. If this deal comes to the table, it's hard to see how Falcons GM Terry Fontenot could say no. A mid-round draft pick and a potential starter in Jack Jones would be a solid return for Cousins, especially considering his contract situation. What do you think, Falcons fans? Should the team make this trade? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Should the Falcons move on from Kirk Cousins? Let's be honest. Trading Kirk Cousins makes a lot of sense for Atlanta. His inconsistent play late in the season, combined with his hefty contract and age, makes it tough to justify keeping him around. But moving him won't be easy. Cousins' big salary, and the fact that he's on the wrong side of 30, limit his market. However, Atlanta might have a unique opportunity this year. The upcoming NFL draft lacks top-tier quarterback prospects compared to last year's stacked class featuring Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Drake May, and our own Michael Penix Jr. With only 2 QBs projected as potential first-round picks, teams like the Raiders might look to a veteran like Cousins if they miss out on a rookie. Why the Raiders make sense Las Vegas could be an ideal landing spot for Cousins. They desperately need a quarterback upgrade, but are likely out of position to draft one of the top prospects. Plus, the Raiders aren't exactly a prime destination for elite free agents. A trade for a proven veteran like Cousins might be their best chance to stay competitive. While it's not guaranteed they'll make the move, it's certainly a possibility. For the Falcons, this trade would be a win. Not only would it free up valuable salary cap space, but a 4th-round pick and a promising cornerback like Jack Jones in return would be a solid haul. Jones has shown potential as a playmaker, and adding him would strengthen Atlanta's secondary, a unit that needs more depth and competition heading into 2025. Time to commit to Michael Penix Jr. Some fans might argue that trading Cousins means losing a veteran presence on the roster. But let's not forget the Falcons have already invested heavily in Michael Penix Jr. It's time to fully commit to the young quarterback and surround him with the talent he needs to succeed. Moving Cousins would also signal a shift to the Penix era. It feels like the right time for Atlanta to turn the page. Let's face it, the original signing of Cousins might have seemed like a good idea at the time, but it hasn't worked out as planned. Trading him now could help the Falcons balance the books and build a stronger team for the future. What do you think, Falcons fans? Should the Falcons explore this trade with the Raiders and move on from Kirk Cousins? Is it time to go all in on Michael Penix Jr.? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive updates on your Atlanta Falcons.